I was diagnosed almost 2 years ago.
I found out 2 months ago.
I was in first grade when I got diabetes.
I was diagnosed at 10 years old.
I was 12.
I was scared.
I thought I'd done something wrong.
I didn't know anyone who had it.
I was like really nervous. I was like, what's diabetes? Am I gonna die?
Amanda is 22 years old and just out of college.
I have a family of 4, myself, my father, my mom, and my sister.
Richard is 14 and about to go into 8th grade.
I have a mom, a dad, and a sister.
Dee is 17.
I've been adopted for about 2.5 years. I'm gonna be a senior this year.
15-year-old Cody is a sophomore in high school.
I love to sing, dance, and play the piano.
Thomas is 17.
I'm going to be a senior in high school.
Crystal is 15.
Gonna be a sophomore. I'm kind of excited.
6 fairly typical young people, except for one thing. Every one of them either has diabetes or is at risk of contracting it.
Diabetes is a condition of insulin insufficiency. Either your body doesn't make any insulin, or your body makes insulin, sometimes even excessive insulin, but the insulin doesn't work well.
Insulin is a hormone made in the pancreas that allows your body to use sugar or glucose as an energy source. Some glucose is produced by our bodies. The remaining glucose is produced from the sugar in the food we eat, mainly from carbohydrates like bread, milk, fruit, and sweets. When people do not have diabetes, insulin regulates the sugar in their bodies. It's almost as if insulin is a key.
Insulin being that key to allow blood glucose to get into the cells. Without insulin, your blood glucose or blood sugar can't get into the cells, so it's just sort of trapped in the bloodstream. You need glucose to run all of the machinery of your cells, to help your heart beat, your lungs breathe, and without glucose, none of those things can happen very efficiently.
Left untreated, the long-term complications of diabetes can be devastating.
Small blood vessel disease, decreased vision, and blindness. It can cause kidney damage, nerve damage, and it can also cause large blood vessel disease, such as blocking of the arteries to the heart muscle, which can lead to heart attack.
The 2 main kinds of diabetes that affect young people are called type 1 and type 2 diabetes.
The physicians figured out that I had type 2.
I have type 2 diabetes and I was diagnosed 5 years ago.
In type 2 diabetes, the body still makes insulin in normal or increased amounts, but it doesn't convert sugar to energy as efficiently as it used to.
When they took me in to the doctors, they asked me if I'm always tired, which I am.
Dee didn't know anything was wrong.
But I'm a teenager. High school is always tiring. They asked me if I go to the bathroom a lot. I just thought it was because I drink a lot of water. It was mostly things that you wouldn't really notice. All right, well, I'll talk to you later, okay?
I had symptoms.
Crystal had a feeling something was wrong.
I started feeling sick and I went to my yearly physical and they found out that my sugar was really, really high. It was 655.
A normal blood sugar in a person who doesn't have diabetes generally is above 70 and below about 130. It's in a very narrow range. Somebody with diabetes, the blood sugar is over 200, and sometimes it can be up into the many hundreds, 400, 500, 600.
Type 2 diabetes is usually found in adults over 40 years old, but it's becoming common in children and teenagers who are overweight.
If you're overweight, it significantly increases your risk, and especially if you have a family history.
My mother and father both have diabetes.
Both my parents and both my grandparents had it.
Certain ethnic groups are at higher risk for type 2 diabetes. Children and teenagers who are African American, Native American, and Hispanic have a higher incidence of type 2 diabetes.
So Dee, you going to the gym tonight?
Dee and Crystal couldn't do anything about their genes, but they did learn how to manage their diabetes. First, they had to get their sugar levels under control.
I was put on a lot of insulin and they monitored my sugars to see how high and how low it went.
I took my blood 4 times a day when I first started. They taught my parents how to give me shots. and I actually learned that too.
Today, they still monitor their blood sugar, but both Dee and Crystal were able to get off insulin. Dee now takes an appetite suppressant.
It comes with prepackaged needles, and then I just inject myself, usually my leg or my stomach.
Crystal takes a pill that increases her body's sensitivity to insulin and another to regulate her blood pressure.
I have high blood pressure. That runs in my family. I'm not really sure how I got it, but I also take a pill for that.
Many times, high blood pressure goes along with significant obesity.
Both Crystal and Dee had critical lifestyle issues to address.
I was overweight. I didn't really do much. I was a couch potato, basically.
It was mostly diet and exercise I had to change because I wasn't eating very well.
I was eating too much junk food, way too much.
And I didn't exercise.
I'm risk-sided because I'm overweight.
I'm pre-diabetic.
Prediabetes is a term that's used to describe people who have blood glucose values that are slightly elevated compared to the normal population, but they're not in the range of diabetes.
Before people develop type 2 diabetes, they almost always have prediabetes. The bad news is that long-term damage to the body, especially the heart and circulatory system, may occur during prediabetes. The worst news, more and more young people are developing prediabetes.
When the doctor told me I was at risk, I was surprised.
But there were warning signs. People in Richard's family had diabetes, and he was extremely overweight.
The doctor said I was 100 pounds overweight. It's been really hard to break my bad habits, like playing video games, eating a lot, and not going outside.
I did not have any symptoms, but my mom actually has type 2 diabetes and they just wanted to test me.
There is good news. People with prediabetes can prevent the development to type 2 diabetes, and people with type 2 diabetes can control it with healthy lifestyle changes.
I exercise a lot. I try to get in something so my mom doesn't nag me that much, because moms do that.
I used to drink a lot of sodas, and now I just usually drink a lot more water.
I walk a lot, I dance, and especially since I watch my niece, I have a lot of running around to do.
I vacuum a lot and help around the house with different chores. It burns calories and gets me in good with my parents.
I'm actually lucky that I like fruits and vegetables. I'm always eating fruit. We have tons of it all the time.
You gotta go outside every day, play, exercise, be in motion.
They've had their successes.
In over 2 months, I lost 20 pounds.
I lost 5 pounds.
And they've had their setbacks.
I lost some weight in the beginning, and then when I got stabilized, I gained my weight back. Now I'm starting to lose it again.
Despite the challenges, they're determined to live healthier lives.
I'm getting a lot better in a lot of ways.
I just try to exercise a lot to be able to lose a little more weight than I'm already losing.
And for the next couple of months, I want to lose 80 pounds.
The doctors want me to set higher goals for myself to be more active because the more weight loss, the easier it is to burn your sugar.
I have type 1 diabetes.
And I've had it since I was 6 years old.
It actually used to be called juvenile diabetes because it's more common in children.
Type 1 diabetes, the most common type in children and young adults, occurs when the pancreas doesn't make enough insulin. Amanda and Thomas both had symptoms.
I had been drinking a lot of water.
I just drank and drank and drank.
After meals, a lot, I would be tired.
I had been urinating a lot.
And before meals, I would find that I was very shaky. I was very nervous, feeling jittery.
My mom took me to the doctor instead, thinking I had a urinary tract infection.
They tested my blood sugar, and it was 250.
They had to take me to the hospital because my blood sugar was way higher than it should be.
People with type 1 diabetes have to test and monitor their blood sugar a number of times a day.
Testing my blood sugar is a very major part of managing diabetes.
I usually test approximately 5 times a day.
I test anytime before I eat, I test if I'm going to be exercising, and I test when I wake up and before I go to bed.
Since their bodies don't make enough insulin, Thomas and Amanda have to get their insulin through injections. Everyone with type 1 diabetes is insulin dependent for life.
This is my insulin pump, which gives me my insulin, so I don't have to give myself shots anymore. The pump delivers a constant stream of insulin through an infusion set which I wear.
The pump makes it easier for me to exercise. It makes it easier to go out with my friends and not have to worry about taking the injection shots.
It's nice not to give myself shots all the time, but I would say the biggest difference is that because the pump delivers a constant stream of insulin, it helps me maintain my blood sugar levels.
Thomas and Amanda can frequently tell if their blood sugar level is off.
When my blood sugar is high, I usually get tired, cranky. The other day, actually, I was driving and I had to pull over because I couldn't really see. It's like a foggy layer that you can't focus your eyes. So I pulled over and tested my blood sugar and it was very low. It was 29.
Low blood sugar, or hypoglycemia, can happen when the body doesn't have enough sugar to burn for energy. Some of the most common causes are taking too much insulin, exercising, and missing a meal or snack.
The central nervous system needs sugar to operate properly. And when your brain doesn't have enough glucose, it doesn't work very well. So those symptoms can be mental fogginess, lethargy, feeling very tired, sleepy, personality change, becoming very aggressive, belligerent.
So the most important thing is always to test, and then it can help me to see if it is diabetes related, and then if it is, to correct it.
Type 1 and type 2 diabetes share many of the same warning signs and symptoms: frequent urination, excessive thirst, unusual fatigue or weakness, unexplained weight loss, and tingling in your hand, legs, or feet. If you have any of these signs, get tested for diabetes.
Most school nurses now have the equipment to test blood sugars. They should definitely tell a parent that they're concerned that they might have diabetes so they can be tested.
The most surprising thing I found out, you can never get rid of diabetes. It's always going to be there.
Diabetes can't be cured, but it can be treated. Many people avoid the long-term problems of diabetes simply by taking good care of themselves. Monitoring your blood sugar and using insulin and other medicines to keep it at a normal level will help keep you healthy and active. If you don't already, eat healthy foods.
Fruits and vegetables and breads and the food pyramid are what you should be eating. It's the ultimate thing for a diabetic to follow. Most people, when they look at the side panel, the nutrition facts of their foods, they look at the calories or the content of fat in there, but I have to look at the carbohydrates.
Exercise regularly.
Exercise is extremely important. I find that when I exercise, it really helps me to control my blood sugars.
Your friends, teachers, coaches, all should know that you have diabetes and that you might have symptoms that are suggestive of low blood sugar.
I always tell all my teachers and my coaches right away that I have diabetes, because in the event that anything ever happened, if I required medical aid, they would be the ones who would have to call somebody and would have to tell them that I have diabetes.
When I'm at my friends' houses, I taught them how to take my sugar, and if I'm really sick, how to help me, give me sugar.
These are glucose tablets, which have fast-acting sugar for if I get a low blood sugar.
Even if you have a low risk of developing diabetes, you probably know someone who has it.
If you have a kid on your baseball team who's usually a pretty easygoing kid who's suddenly, crying or cursing and not acting himself, even though you think this is bad behavior, you have to think, could this be a low blood sugar reaction?
If you're pre-diabetic, now is your time to take control.
The best thing you can do is to adopt what we call a healthy lifestyle. That is healthy eating, avoiding obesity, and being physically active.
I'm getting a lot of more energy. I run faster than before. I could go longer than before. I have a lot of endurance to play outside.
When they told me that I was pre-diabetic, I felt a little nervous and a little scared of what was going to happen, but I knew that my family and my friends and my doctor would stick by me and just help me through it.